Yeah, hi Elisabeth. Welcome back to the podcast. Lots happening in Sydney, Australia. It's just been chaos at the moment. Too much politics in the TV. Time to switch that news off. Chuck the newspaper in the bin. And I booked my vaccine on Monday for the fires, and they turned around and said to me, "I know you can't because you're not from the area. You need to get a COVID test." Got a COVID test. It was negative. So I have to go to my GP to get AstraZeneca, apparently. So I was not a happy chap on Monday.
That's this is what's happening in a lot of countries, but it's ridiculous
Mm.
why Australia can't get its act together. I mean, such a small population, and the everything else works. So why can't this work? It's absolutely crazy. And this business with the vaccines, I think Italy had a similar problem
Mm.
with people, the government giving information and then changing and, saying, oh, don't use, do use, which vaccine you should use. And people a lot in Italy have just sort of, oh, that's it, bugger it. I'm just not doing anything.
We're in a second
It's a
lockdown
similar
in
thing.
Sydney as well. And it's just utter ridiculous, Elizabeth.
Yeah,
The Queensland
yeah.
Premier pissed off to Tokyo to the Olympics, and Gladys Berejiklian got caught without a mask, and she's like, "Oh, you got to wear your mask. Extra police are going to hang around." I saw the police
No.
patrolling today with a couple of army people. Um, so I always got my mask on. And there's this
Mm.
actual scam going around where people are calling people saying, "Oh, you've tested positive to the virus." I had a scam call this afternoon, and it sounded like a
Oh,
robot.
that's terrible. I mean, that's just is there any way you can report that sort of thing? I
Uh,
mean, other than general scam reports, but
Let me tell me listeners where you can go. It's I looked it up on a website called Reverse Australia.
uh-huh.
If you can see that, probably can't.
Yeah, yeah, Reverse Australia. That's the number.
Um,
Yeah,
and people are complaining, and it just sounded like a robot.
yeah. I think, and there are a lot of people making money out of this whole
Oh,
pandemic.
doctors are making money, Elizabeth, because they're
They're
given a joke.
charging. That's
They charge
terrible.
they charge you for the consultation. Then just to tell you results, they charge you the money for that. It's giving me the shits. I'm
Yeah,
sick of
yeah.
it.
It's so unfair. In Austria, we also have the testing, free testing, very easy.
Mm.
We do home testing, and that's really convenient, and it's very, very accurate,
Hmm.
and it's particularly good. These home Gurgle tests are particularly good for people who have been vaccinated as well. So, and they're free. You just walk down to the chemist, you pick up your boxes, you just do the test, you drop the box back anytime you want, and they'll email you the results. And it's also, you can register yourself as being you can register yourself so you can actually use that test then wherever you want
Mm.
to go.
Do you want to
Um,
hear it? It sounds like literally a robot.
yeah,
You have been contacted by the New South Wales Health Pathology COVID results line. We cannot answer calls at this time. You will be contacted again by us shortly.
Sounds like a robot.
it is. Well, yeah, it is. But
So for the listeners, if you get a call from 028311 3992, that's a scam going around, and just hang that up because I got my results SMS saying negative, and they're trying to scare elderly people, so ignore it.
yeah,
If
exactly.
Department of Health would have called you, they'd leave voicemail.
Exactly. They don't call. They would, I would imagine they'd SMS because it's too hard, too many people to
Mm.
call. I mean, that would be really inefficient. And we have here a system where they just send you a message with a code and saying, if you
Mm.
want to access this information,
Mm.
then put in this code. And you have to register to be part of that, to access it in the first place. So it's pretty safe. So if you get somebody calling up like that, you just go, well, that's absolutely straight away you'd know, because you don't get any information until you've actually accessed your information, your own file. But I just think it's really, really sad. We have people here who are just, I mean, we have so many cases in Vienna, and there's no lockdown right now. The only thing we have to do is wear masks in public transport and public buildings, and get tested in some industries to get tested regularly. We have to
it's
be
just
tested to
been
get into a restaurant, that sort
a
of thing.
stuff around just to get a jab.
Yeah, it shouldn't be the case. I know that they've just this morning they were setting up new places to get injections, Pfizer or AstraZeneca. But it's ridiculous. I mean, and really, the only thing we have now is masks and vax. That's it. We've been keep testing, yes, but I mean that's not protecting you. That's just finding out, information really. But the best thing is just keep the mask on. Yes, last night I did a gig. It's like a first time a proper gig in a big space with chairs in rows and people sitting on their bums on seats and on a stage. It's a first for a long time, that type of formal performance. Everybody had to show their proof of, as they walked in, they had to show proof that they've been vaccinated fully or they had a test in the past 24 hours. And then we also had to write down a name for contact tracing in case there was anything. And there were people there who weren't wearing masks. It's like, you've done everything else. Why not just put this little thing on? It's not going to hurt you.
I was in Market Fair in Campbelltown. I saw a bloke not wearing his mask. I thought, you're an idiot. You're the one who's going to get a fine. People are stupid.
Yeah, I know.
It's just stupid.
Yep. There was there's a in all our shops, people are really good here. So in general, I would say that Vienna's doing a pretty good job. There was one day I was at the shop though, and it was just one of those days where everything was stressful, and I had to get things done in a hurry. And this guy walks in. They didn't stop him, and he had no mask, and he was coughing and sniffing the whole time. And I just couldn't get out of the shop quickly enough. I told them, there's a man in here without a mask, and he's coughing and sick. He's obviously sick. And they just went, oh, yeah, we know. It's like, how, it took my breath away. And so you get these little moments where, the money speaks louder than the message of health. They want to get their sale. That's all they want. And I think the politics of the mask, the politics of the virus, the vaccines has just been so detrimental.
I just hope they eradicate this virus, because I don't want to live like this forever. I really don't.
No, it's a tough one. It's a really tough one. And it's tough for every different age group as well.
100 years ago in the Spanish flu, there was all this stuff going on, but no one talked about it when I was growing up. But on a positive note, that's my rant of the podcast.
Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you get your vaccine soon.
Yeah, I booked in on Monday at my GP. Scam calls going around. They think they're from the government. They're not. Hang it up.
Yep, that's good to know.
But I've hit 100 YouTube subscribers as well.
Yeah, well done.
So I'm very, very happy. I've just published a new music video called Apocalypse that went up yesterday. That was experimenting with some different sort of camera footage as well.
Okay, cool.
Podcast, 150 episodes as well. That's been fun. Changed the cover as well, so I thought I'll try something a bit different on the Stephen Shiels radio show. If you notice, there's a cat and a dog on there.
Yeah, I saw it different.
It's got like a third eye chakra thing, and created an avatar thing for my social media as well. So I've been busy.
That. Yeah, that's all stuff you can do at home, which is cool.
lots of keyword research on Morning Fame for YouTube as well to try to rank my videos.
Yep, that's good. Yeah, it's not an easy thing to do to compete against the the amount of content that's on YouTube, and yeah, it's pretty hard. Yeah, that's great. I've been doing a lot of video editing at the moment. Um, my husband and I have just finished a very big project, and it was a music art video one that I've told you about. We've finally finished, and we've we've sent the first part, the score and the video and the music recording to the person who commissioned it, and they said yes, it's cool, it's great. So that's a relief, but also very exciting. And then they've got some artwork on the way, which I'm just in the process of packing up and sending off. But it's been pretty intense. The video editing, because it was a 18-minute video, and quite complex ideas that we wanted to present. It was pretty intense. I mean, how you get down to that one tiny, tiny instant, and you think, oh no, it just needs to be there instead, and then everything it's just like, oh my gosh. But I think the result was it's stunning. The result, it's been worth all the effort, and we thought when we started the project a year ago that it would be, because it was based on the theme of the pandemic and coping as an artist being resilient. That was a sort of the theme. We thought by the time we finish it, because it was such a big project, we thought, oh, the pandemic will be over. Maybe it'll be a bit old-fashioned. People go, I'm so sick of. And then we've actually been just finishing it, and there's a whole new, fresh layer of information. You could do a whole new series just based on that, because there's just new information and new misinformation, new ridiculous stories about people, hanging out and shopping in supermarkets to be social, or people, forging their green pass vaccination certificates, or it's like, and then your hoax here too. Yeah, that's just it's beyond the pale. And yeah, I just really, we don't know what's going to happen. You're in winter now, going into spring, so you'll probably get a reduction of cases, but we're going into autumn. And in September, I'm just waiting. I've got all these gigs lined up for September and October, and I'm just saying yes to everything, assuming that it will be okay, but who knows, we might go into lockdown again.
Fingers crossed that you can play those gigs.
Yeah, I know. I'm hoping there's one in Slovenia, which I'm really looking forward to. It's a weekend improv weekend, and doing a couple of concerts there. And I'm just so looking forward to go. I haven't been to Ljubljana before, and I really, really have been wanting to go for a long time. And so I'm just so hoping that works out. And another one in Salzburg, and another one in Graz. And I'm just hoping they're local ones. But even so, Salzburg is about 2 hours train from Vienna. But that doesn't, if we're in lockdown, it doesn't matter if it's 10 minutes away, it won't happen. So we're just, thumbs tucked, as we say. But yeah, that's part of it. But and then there's also a couple of projects. I've been selected for a improv composition theatre kind of piece, and where I'm incorporating movement and music and art as well. And that's coming up in September, October. So that's really that'll be an interesting experience. And then also I'm directing a section of a performance of a piece of mine, and where I'm asking the performers to do interesting things with paper.
Mm.
So they with large pieces of paper and massive, basically massive origami
Nice.
sort of ideas, and using the paper as resonating cavities and as extensions of their instrument or extensions of their voice or extensions of their body with different shapes. So that's all happening, and those two things are in Vienna, fortunately. So they'll probably happen, or one definitely will happen. And yeah, we just wait and see. There's so many things going on, and I just hope people are sensible about them. But you don't know. You just never know how people are. I mean, when I look out on the street, most people are doing the right thing, but it only takes one or two not to, you know.
There's so
And
much politics in music these days. Like, can't go to a gig, can't do this. Oh no, you can't be a woodwind player because you're going to spread the coronavirus.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're coughing. You got to go get a COVID test. This is
Yeah.
population control. This has pissed me off.
Yeah. No, I feel your angst.
Like, it's not the same rehearsing over Zoom or doing a Zoom performance. It's just weird.
No, the Zoom thing. I had a rehearsal with my trio that did the gig last night. We had a rehearsal on Thursday, and a proper one. It was so nice to actually just even that feeling of counting in, or just that feeling of a cue. I'd forgotten how wonderful it feels to do a live cue. Here we go, or eye contact when we get to a phrase, or ending together with that lovely sense of that there's not an exact end, but we all know when to end, and just getting things in time together. It was just a really fun experience, and I'd forgotten how wonderful.
Well,
these things are.
there's like bushfires going on in Turkey at the moment.
Yeah.
I never thought Turkey would have bushfires.
Yeah, well, they're very hot, but some of these fires are set by people.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea is to burn down the forests that are heritage listed, or listed as, world, what are they called? Not heritage, protected.
Mm-hmm.
And if they decimate those forests, then the people who are lighting the fire, then they get off the world protection list, and that land becomes open to purchase to build hotels.
For like 2019, 2020 bushfire season in Australia was terrible. It was like, I remember looking up at the sky. It feels like living in Shanghai, China, on Circular Quay. It was just full of smoke.
Yeah, it was really bad. It was like one of those things you think, how's it going to finish? And then the terrible floods, afterwards. We've also just in Germany and Belgium, parts of France, I think, and a little bit of Austria, had as you know, the devastating floods a few weeks ago, and they're still missing people. Like, they still can't find some people. Quite a few people died, and it's. I mean, you can't start a flood. You can start a fire, but you can't start a fire. No, you can start a fire, but you can't start a flood.
I remember that time we were podcasting and the storm hit and cut the internet out.
Yeah.
In February this year.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, we've had electrical storms here that have been no blackouts, but in some places in Austria they've had power out for maybe an hour or something. But the floods in Germany were absolutely, like, just devastating for these small towns, and there are I mean, I was just reading this morning, there was a publishing company, and she had um, just done a video, like the day before the floods, basically saying, "Look at this is the publishing company. We also archive old books," and she just had it scanned the video of the sort of the library area, the lard or the space where she stored these books, and some of them were precious antique books. And she'd just done this video saying, and welcome, and anybody who wants something published, like a little ad, but not quite an ad, more like a little presentation, and yeah, and then so she got caught in the floods, and the next day she had videoed what the devastation, and every book except things on the top shelf destroyed. And she said these were new publications. Sure, that's bad, but she said some of these were antique books that are priceless. They disappeared, and it's just like that's just one little publishing company in one city. It's absolutely dreadful. And you can imagine after the floods, yourself, if that smell of mold and dank and mildew and mud, and it's horrendous.
Yeah, I don't like floods because after it just gets humid.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
I like winter.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's partly why we moved to Vienna, Stefan.
Well,
but that was not the right thing because Vienna's very warm. But we just couldn't stand the summer in Australia. It's just disgusting, and it's getting worse, it seems.
I mean, August is a dry month because August is the start of the bushfire season in Australia. Yeah. Like today, I was just sitting out and doing my work, had my shirt off, getting my tan on the sun, getting vitamin D, trying to get an hour of vitamin D a day.
Good.
Just I couldn't do that in the winter because it's just been cold.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, you can still get your vitamin D if you go for a walk and put your face in the sun. It's fine. And that is one good thing about living in Europe is even though there is sun and it's hot, you don't really have to wear sunscreen. I mean, I haven't worn sunscreen for about 5 years now, and I used to wear it every single day for 20 years or whatever, however long, as soon as it started being a thing to wear in Australia, a slip, slop, and slap. That was always what I did.
Do you get snow? Do you get snow where you are?
Yeah, we do.
Man,
yeah, not a lot, not as much as say in the mountains, but yeah, there some years it's trudging through snow is a normal thing for a whole week or 2 weeks.
Awesome.
But no, not as much as, I mean, even if it were more, it wouldn't be a problem. But I ride my bike through it, so it can't be that bad. You have to be careful riding a bike through snow, but they also really here in the city, they're very good about bike paths and cleaning footpaths and making sure everything is clean and salted and not dangerous. So yeah, but it is really nice, and just outside, like in the mountains, just outside of Vienna, you get lots of snow, and it's really pretty. Yeah, sometimes some of the images you see from that, that lovely twilight look of that blue, deep blue, and the snow on a mountain, and sometimes people put photos up. It's like, that is just. It's as spectacular as looking at something underwater. It's just, it's got that same depth, and that you just want to keep looking at this gorgeous, calm, quiet, beautiful space. And the great thing about snow is that it's quiet. It insulates sound, so it's beautiful.
I remember going to the snow in Canada. I love the winters in Canada. Matter of fact, if I could move there, I would.
Yeah, there's a goal. Canada's a really great place.
Have a fire. But I've always wanted a fireplace.
Okay. We go to the Blue Mountains for that. But Canada had record high temperatures a few weeks ago. They were like in the 40s.
Wow.
There's some, yeah. It was just, I mean, that's just the way the world is. They're not calling it climate change, but climate threat now. So, who's being threatened? I don't know, but obviously, the Earth doesn't really care.
You go to the Northern Territory in the middle of winter, it's like 33 degrees.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like
ridiculous.
hot all year round.
Yeah.
Or Singapore would be the same because
Singapore is the same, and it's humid as well.
It's always Darwin. If you go to Darwin in the wet, it's always muggy.
Yeah, I know. You've got such problems with like just your health problems when you have so much humidity. I don't know. Somehow people in Singapore seem to manage to do it.
I've been to Port Vila, Vanuatu, Numia, Lifu. They were very humid. I went on a cruise. You just start sweating everywhere.
Yeah. And then it's like, is it sweat or is it just the humidity? Because it's almost always, 80% humidity, 30 degrees. That's just like a standard. And then you go into air-conditioned spaces, and it's not really air-conditioned. It's kind of still muggy and
Well, apparently in the Northern Territory, I think it was about a week for your body to acclimatise to it. I wouldn't live there.
It's a hard life. Do you know, probably one of the best places to live is underground in Kupapiti. In one of those cave houses. That would be really cool.
That would be.
And there's a Viennese or Austrian artist and architect designer, and his name was Hundertwasser. And very, very famous. He's dead now, but a very famous man who focused on getting his architecture to be incorporated in the land, but in a very playful way. So on mountains, you'll see these really colourful little, they're like little elves houses popping out. But inside, because it's done half underground and half above, it's huge. Like there's one place, the Hundertwasser Spa, is outside of Vienna. That is absolutely amazing. When you approach it, you just see the land is doing this, and then you just see little kind of bits of building kind of. It's not exactly, you don't know where you are. And then when you go inside the spa, everything is just coloured mosaics, all different levels. It looks like you're sort of in an Aladdin's cave with, spas with hot water and cold and all these different places, saunas and everything. And I went one time a couple of years ago, well before lockdown, and it was at capacity. They have a certain number of people they can have, and it was like 95% capacity. You wouldn't have known it. It was just the way it's designed. There's so many ways that the architect Hundertwasser planned it, that you turn a corner and it's a mess, but you turn a corner and you don't feel crowded in. And it's just a remarkable piece of architecture. He has a number of pieces buildings that he renovated here in Vienna, and there's a museum of his work. It's stunning work. I highly recommend it. And his important idea was get the environment involved with your art. Don't try and capture it or control it or anything. Just get it involved, embrace it, and you'll be embracing your own humanity. And I mean, one of the things he also did was he invented brand new, designed a flag for every country, a new flag. And it was interesting to look, where's the Australian flag? And of course, it includes, doesn't include the Southern Cross.
I quite like the Australian flag, actually.
Yeah, I think as a design, there's nothing wrong with it, but as a symbol, there are some huge problems.
Mhm.
And
The Canadian flag's nice, and the New Zealand.
yeah, it's a nice one. Yeah, that's a good one. Um, the Austrian flag is pretty bland. It's just red and white, nothing fancy. But candy stripes. But I think, yeah. But this artist, yeah, I just highly recommend him. He actually died in New Zealand. He moved to New Zealand and he built, and he was buried under the tree that he grew, and it was like a really beautiful old tree. Um, but I think that's the thing with the environment is we're just going to have to work with it, be with it, and not fight it. This business of air conditioning, like classic in Greece. I mean, it's such a beautiful, ancient, so many wonderful things that are there in Greece. It's a tourist mecca, of course. They're having heat waves of up to, I think they were saying 45 degrees, 30 overnight. And the governments were saying, please stay indoors um, and use air conditioning. Like, assuming everyone has air conditioning.
Yeah.
You know, there are plenty of people who, for instance, the refugee camps, where air conditioning is just not possible. Um, so I just think the whole idea of the way we use air conditioning, the way it's done, it's not creative. It's, turn on a switch and use some energy. That's not creative. There has to be a better way to live so that we don't have to
Well, I know
use up all that energy.
one solution for air conditioning in the winter is firewood because it's natural.
Yeah, yeah.
And
If
that's
you can,
actually better than air conditioning itself. Now, for summer, I don't know if you can get it through solar panels or something. If you go down in
yeah.
the caves, obviously it's cooler.
But if you've been to Armadale in the winter, because they use a lot of wood fire, you can hardly breathe.
Serious?
Yeah, it's one of the most horror. I used to dread going to Armadale. When we lived in Tamworth, we used to do a lot of work between the two cities or regional centres. And I hear that Armadale's in lockdown
Yeah.
today again, or again once for once. Um, and yeah, the winters there were terrible. You come in by the train, and you just see this pall of smoke, and you breathe. It's just horrible and moist because it's a very wet place, Armadale. Lots of rain, and so you get wet and smoke. It's like that's a you can't breathe. It's disgusting. But the problem with wood is that it's you burn it faster than you create it. So if everyone were to burn wood, you'd end up with no wood, no forests left because you just can't keep up with the demand if everyone was using it.
Maybe you just get like the dead sticks off the trees that fall off. You can.
Yes, as an individual, definitely hand picking and doing it, but if you do it on an industrial level so that the entire population gets the benefit, you're looking at stripping forests, in about 2
Well, I think
years.
there was something going on in Brazil where they were chopping down the forest or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
The whole world's going to shit, Elisabeth.
Yeah, it's a very dark place right now.
Do you think this is the second coming of Jesus Christ by the signs of it?
That's a good one. Haven't heard that before. I think we're learning that we're becoming more aware that we don't have control over this earth. And we also are becoming more aware that people have they've set up systems, capitalism and corporatism, branding, advertising. We've set up systems. Humans have set these systems up, and religion, since you've brought it up, to control people. and the people within the environment. And this, these are breaking down. These systems are breaking down when it comes to actual individual people. So some
Well,
people are profiting, but others are not. I mean, it's great. It's sometimes like, what do you call it? Schadenfreude,
yeah.
where you take delight in someone's misfortune. I'm hearing so many. There's so much news coming out of America where these anti-vaxxers are dying
Uh,
in hospital, and it's like, okay, I don't want anyone to die unnecessarily, and pain is not my thing, but guys, get yourself vaccinated.
well, the,
So that's been an interesting experience too.
this,
I'm feeling kind
yeah,
of Schadenfreude about it, and
this
I don't
Delta
like that. But
Delta strain's been affecting young people my age,
yeah,
27. There was, I think there was one bloke in Liverpool
yeah,
died of coronavirus.
yeah,
So there's a lot of
exactly.
conspiracy theories going around too.
Yeah,
Now,
exactly.
I thought I'd just ask if it was the second coming of Jesus Christ by the signs of it, because Revelation does depict something about the marking of the beast, but I don't know.
Yes, but who wrote Revelations?
Oh God, I forgot.
No, he didn't. Sorry. Wrong question, wrong answer. So people wrote these books. So people
Mm,
have flaws. People also wrote. People have also um, used thalidomide and researched thalidomide, done paper after paper how safe thalidomide is, a really safe drug, and now we know that truth is not fallible,
mm.
infallible. Sorry, um, we know now that um, people didn't think that tobacco was such a bad problem,
Oh, that stuff's
you know,
bad for your
and
lungs.
yeah, but people didn't know this. People didn't know. Researchers had put out all this false information saying, look, it's actually in moderation, it's all good. All those researchers that were paid by the tobacco companies to do the research, but the people, the general public, they weren't aware. They lived, and you just like, you think now, how could they not? It's like, that's such a giant duh. But if you've had no information, for instance, that wooden cabinet behind you, holding your trophies and wonderful whatnots and old plates that look gorgeous.
Mhm.
Um,
That's supposed to be replaced by my podcast background, but I can't do it on Zoom.
yeah, but no, it's cool. I like it. It's very cool. It's got an old and new mixture there. But that the varnish on that wood may be poisoning you.
I'm still here.
I know, but like, are you going to still be here in 10 years? Breathing it in. Who knows? I mean, we just don't know. I think so. I think reading and listening to anything is very difficult. I mean, even places like if you go to, say, Mayo Clinic to find out, you know, um, information, medical information, which is a reputable place. Even they have done some funny, weird advertising things where they advertise on websites that are completely
Don't.
bogus, and
Don't.
they're doing it, out of us, like, in a way. It's like, well, we have to get to everybody, so we're going to get to these wing nuts, but it's not easy to get that
Well,
information.
the only people you should be listening to is your epidemiologists and your professors with
Yeah,
PhDs.
yeah. Which professors?
You see them on the news, Channel 10, the epidemiologists.
Channel 10's a problem as well.
They
But
they
yes,
do.
yeah, I agree.
Oh, they
Yeah,
get the prime minister to say, "Oh yeah, the AstraZeneca is safe," and these bastards from the media stirring up trouble.
yeah,
They're pissing me off,
exactly.
Elizabeth.
Yeah,
I
no,
can't
they're
stand that
very.
newspaper. I just want to scratch it up and use it as firewood. The Daily
Yeah,
Telegraph or the Sydney Morning Herald.
yeah,
It's just
they've
garbage.
really they're not doing the citizens a good service, and
Last year I rang the Daily Telegraph for an interview as a musician. Some of them are just rude.
yeah.
Oh, why do you think we should interview you? Oh, we're talking
Oh, arrogant.
coronavirus.
Yeah, Yeah, no, that's no fun.
Daily
I think,
Telegraph for you.
yeah, but then the other thing is as artists, we have to be, um, and creative people, we have to be very smart in where we put our information as well. Um, you going to the Telegraph, is that really going to serve you well? Are you going to get the people who read the Telegraph and like really read it in detail enough to access your interview?
Yeah, it's
Are you
music.
going to get are you going to get people from the Telegraph interested, or is it better to go through some like a film quarterly?
Well,
You know,
funny story. And then a guy Neil Duty from Arts Cafe FM reached out to me, and I had my first ever interview on a radio. So I
mm-hmm.
was very happy. That was the universe saying, "We'll reward you, Stephen." Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe a year or two, I'll grow, and then the telly might reach out to me, or the New York Times. I'll say yes to it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think if they reach out to you, it is a different story because they're looking for an angle to sell a paper. But if you're going with places that are really designed to disseminate information to people who are interested,
Mm.
and that might be it's a quality journalism that takes time to work things out rather than just shock jock and
I just wanted to
Oh, I
share
mean,
my
the only
story.
thing, the other thing is you could just start making absolute rubbish up and sending it to them and saying, "Look at this,"
Mm.
and they'll get in touch with you.
Oh God. No, I just
Have
wanted to
some
share.
scandals,
Yeah,
Stephen.
I just wanted to share my story. That's all.
Yeah,
Get people
exactly.
inspired.
Yeah, I think it's really hard to do that. Do you are you on TikTok or any of those
Just
social media ones?
I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, but more pushing web talk because I like
Yeah,
web talk.
yeah. I've heard this is good. I haven't.
Because Instagram, my followers are dropping. I don't know what's going on, so I won't be pushing it.
Yeah, I've also Instagram's changing its format. It's more video oriented, trying to do more of a TikTok thing.
I'm getting fed
So
up.
yeah, and the problem with Instagram is I find is that you get a lot of I get sometimes a lot of likes from people who I absolutely do not know,
Oh, you're
and just
lucky.
out of well no, because out of curiosity I go to it might be my tags that I choose, but I might go to their site to see who they are, and they're virtually. I'm not saying they're nobody, but
Mm.
they're completely unrelated in terms of their interests. Why they
Oh,
would
you're
like mine?
popular.
No,
I
no.
put I put up a post, I only get 3 likes, and I put all that effort in it and the hashtags. And I'm thinking, why aren't they coming?
Yeah, no.
Lucky
It's
you.
that. No, well, I don't know. I mean, if it is somebody legitimate, then yeah, it makes. But the likes aren't so important. I find that if I'm getting, so I get some where they will send a personal message, and they go, "Oh, great stuff," and then you go and see what it is, what who actually sent the message, because it's always good when you get a message. It's because it's rare on Instagram, and it's some um, person dressed in a
Mm.
barely dressed kind of thing,
I get
posing,
a lot of people
and it's like okay,
reaching out to me, Elizabeth, saying, "Oh, we want to market your social media. They want to
yeah,
charge for a shout out."
yeah, we get a lot of that, yeah.
So I just delete
And
it.
a lot of things, if there've been also people who they're quite legitimate, they're actually trying to get um, their business or whatever it is, their organization on the chat on the map, but they'll send a personal email and they'll say, "Oh, I couldn't find your uh, only just found your email, and I've seen what you do, and I really like it. Blah blah blah. And if you're interested, we could do something with this. We could develop this, and just go to this website." So they're not asking for anything other than for you to click on their website. Um, but they seem at first they seem like, oh, this is so exciting, I've just found you, and I was looking for you, and I see what you're doing, and it's fantastic. They don't tell you what you've done. Like, they don't say, I really like the art, or I really like the way you um, made that sound, or or I'm really interested in the projects that you're involved with. I'm also involved in something similar. Or no, it's just like, I really like your stuff, it's fantastic, blah blah. And all they're doing is asking you to jump on their website so they get more people. And they send out these emails, because there was one email I got like that, and I thought, oh God, it's not like a normal scam. So I just went into I just checked whether it was a scam, and sure enough, everyone was saying, yeah! Hundreds of people had said, oh yeah, I got that email this morning too.
Yeah.
So you're not safe anywhere. And I think a lot of places, you've just got to accept that that's going to happen if you're putting your stuff out there.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. It just goes to my spam folder.
Yeah, exactly. But some people can get caught out. I did get caught out by PayPal. Sent me I had just been paid for a little video that I did, and through PayPal.
Mm.
And I thought, oh, that's good. The money went through. That's fine. And the very an hour later or something, I got a message saying, oh, because of the recent transaction, your account's been frozen. And it's like, what?
Mm.
But I got paid. I could see it, and I can get. And then I went into my account, and everything was fine. And so, what have I done? What's happened? And it turns out it was just a scam hooked to this.
Oh,
It was coincidental.
They do it with PayPal. They do it with the ATO, electricity, phone. I'm sick of it.
But yes, I've heard that they've been doing it with the COVID as well.
Yeah,
so
that number I showed you on air.
Yeah.
No, I'm just fed up with it, Elisabeth.
Yeah. Well, the only way is to escape and get offline and go and live in a house with your fireplace.
Mm-hmm.
It's even then, you're like, good luck, because we're all connected. The web has connected us, and it's just a matter of trying to attach yourself to the legs of the spider.
Exactly.
So you don't fall off, you don't get eaten.
But one day I'd love to do my podcast in person. Although we can only do it virtually, it'd just be better in person.
It'd be good, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Or you only just need a USB mic.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that'd be really cool.
Because rehearsing music on Zoom, and it's just not the same. Doing a gig on Zoom,
no.
You might as well just pre-record it in a studio and film it.
Yes, there is that. I think people generally are not interested in the Zoom live kind of thing anymore. There might have been a bit of interest early on to see, how, not so much like how's it going to go, but how could I do it? But I think now, the studio idea is probably a better way to go. You get a better quality as well. On the other hand, I think there's room for it.
Do you live stream your gigs or not? Because I know the audio for live streaming is not the best for music.
No, it's not. Occasionally, but the live, the answer is basically no, because too much can go wrong. So
I've seen some meditation teachers on Insight Time are live streaming the flute or Tibetan bowls, but the sound is fuzzy if the connection's not right.
Exactly. We have just through Zoom, we have my weekly improv, free improv sessions, and they're open to the public, so anyone can go, but they're not live stream as in click here to watch now. You actually have to go in to a Zoom meeting like this. And even though that there are so many restrictions with Zoom, the free improv has been a fantastic avenue for Zoom.
Mm.
And most of us, gradually, we have improved the way we use Zoom. And so it's not just us struggling with the technology, it's a group of people playing together with Zoom. So we're using the space just like you'd use the acoustics of a cave or a large hall or or a church. We're actually using the latency and the distractions and the busyness and the isolation of this to create that. Sometimes we've created some really interesting things, and as you get better at as we find, as we get better at and more knowledgeable of what we're doing in terms of the Zoom, we can get quieter, which is really hard because you know live or online things, silence is deadly.
I know,
That
terrible.
7 second delay, all that. So, but gradually we've been able to get it. In the last session we did on last Monday, I think, it was just the most quiet, transparent thing. It was just a trio, and we weren't like worried. Oh, it's gonna muck up or something. It was just a really lovely experience. And so I think playing as a performer, playing on Zoom, it's not for everyone, but I've found it really an important part of my performance. Um, but as far as a listener, I'm not exactly sure. I know people are listening to these sessions because we put them on YouTube in my Improv Freedom playlist, but also in a couple of other people are putting them up as well. And one person took a section and said, "Do you mind if I take this section? Because it's perfect for a movie that I'm producing." And it was only about 15, 20, maybe 30 seconds of music, and they used that in a movie. So and it's completely improvised stuff, and they sort of randomly kind of poked through. They went, "Oh, that's just the perfect mood." So I think there's there's a there is it's a genre. I think online improvising is now a style or a genre, or at least it's a trend.
Yeah, trends are good. Like YouTube is coming out with these shorts, so I'm going to be doing like a short series on YouTube as
Can you
well.
tell me more about that?
Yeah,
That?
it's like TikTok. They're competing with
Right.
TikTok and Instagram Reels, 30 to 60-second
Okay.
video.
Okay.
But
That's cool.
yeah. Oh, I was speaking of politics. I did a music. My track Judas is political. I forgot a music video. It's got like the White House. It's got Washington. And it's got the Chinese flag and the US flag.
Yeah.
That was a political song. I wrote that for.
Okay. Yeah, we see. I think that's where we have a voice in our in our music, because I think we can sometimes represent, if not express, truth in a way that hasn't been expressed when we do it in a creative way.
Exactly. No, great show today, Elisabeth. Awesome to have you on.
Very cool. Well, I hope you get your vaccine soon and stay healthy, and lots of vitamin A, B, C, D.
Sweet.
Yeah.